Hi guys! Vivian's here, postcard from Cebu.
And this is Ken. Hey there, guys. We got a question from one of our subscribers, Rick, who asked, how does a relationship with a Filipina differ from a relationship with an American woman? I know that's a big question, but maybe you could highlight the two biggest differences for me. Thanks. Well, Rick, here it goes. Actually chatted with Vivian last night about that, and I think from a relationship standpoint, relationships are relationships. I mean, there's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, just dating, shacking up, whatever. They're pretty much the same thing. The differences are really cultural differences, and there are differences in the attitudes of Filipinas versus American women. Filipinas are very, very family oriented. They tend to all grow up together in very close proximity. There might be 2 or 3 sleeping in one bed together when they're kids growing up. They stay very close. I know Vivian and her sisters are all very close. They're well connected. They're always talking to each other. The same with my stepchildren. They're very close, connected to each other. And that's much, much, much more than the way it is in the U.S. I may see members of my family a couple of times a year, even my brothers and sisters. Although my mom does live here with me, and my son also lives here, but so I guess I got a little Filipino thing going on there. But they're very family oriented, and that brings an element of being close to their husband into the equation of the relationship. Filipinos also have respect for elders. You may have seen one of my videos. I think the Guangzhou compound is one of the videos that Vivian and I made. There's a little boy, Wade. Wade is related to Vivian on her late husband's side. But anyway, in that video, as we're walking up to the house, you can see him come out and he'd take my hand and touch the back of his hand my hand to his forehead. So he'll take my hand, touch the back to his forehead. And that's a show of respect for elders. And it happens everywhere I go in the Philippines. When we're talking about family, they will show respect to the elders in the family. The Philippines, and of course my experience is primarily Cebu, and we're talking Cebuano, but I think it's pretty much the same everywhere in the Philippines. The traditional family structure is very closely held. So even though, ironically, the lesbian and gay community, what do they call it, LGBT, is pretty strong in the Philippines and are well respected. And I think that has to do with, believe it or not, with the Catholic community. The Philippines is mostly a Catholic country. I think the numbers are 85 to 90%, something like that. And because of that, there is no divorce. You cannot get a divorce in the Philippines. There has to be ridiculously extenuating circumstances in order to actually get a divorce or even an annulment in the Philippines. It's very difficult to prove. And as a consequence, a Filipina is dedicated to growing old with her husband. She's not looking to just be around for a few years and take half the money and run, Vivian has said to me on numerous occasions, she'll use the phrase, it's the duty of a wife. And duty is the word she uses. And it's because they're raised that way in the Catholic faith, and the families are very tight, very strong, and a Filipina is going to want a very tight, very strong family relationship with you, assuming that you marry her. That sense of duty just doesn't seem to exist in the U.S. It may early on in a relationship, but for some reason after a while it fades. The other thing that's really interesting is Filipinos are not wasteful. The country is a pretty poor country in terms of the population. The percent of population below the poverty line is very large compared to the United States. As a matter of fact, there was just there was a fire in a very poor area. I think the Mandawi, which is a little town just to the north of Cebu, kind of like a suburb of Cebu, and thousands upon thousands of people were living in this shanty town of, lean-to, tin roof type of things, and it caught fire and burned, and the Cebu government was putting these people up in parks and stadiums and things like that. So it's a very poor country, and so Filipinos are not wasteful. If there's leftover food, it will be eaten by someone. The favorite phrase of Vivian's is Cebuano like to eat. That's what she'll tell me. Cebuanos like to eat. And so I remember an instance where, and I wrote about this in my blog too, I remember an instance where we were at the Jollibee, which is kind of the McDonald's of the Philippines, that they sell fried chicken and stuff. And there was a little boy, a poor child, begging for food outside. And we had plenty to eat, more than enough, and we couldn't take it home and put it in the fridge or anything because we were going somewhere else. And so I said to Vivian, there's a little street kid, they call him. There's a street kid out there. Why don't you wave him in and we'll give him the leftover chicken. And so Filipinos will not waste anything. They do not want to waste any money or any food, especially. Everything I've said so far presupposes that we're talking about a good Filipina. Now, there are scammers and stuff, and a lot of the recent videos, for some reason, have been about scams and when things go bad and stuff like that. But I'm talking about if you have a good, sincere, sweethearted Filipina girlfriend, or especially a wife, she's going to exhibit some or all of those characteristics. From my standpoint, and just that's true for me as well, but some of the other things that personally I was initially attracted to about Filipinas is, one, I think they're beautiful. I think they're beautiful women, and they also speak English. Now, not everyone is a great English speaker, but I caution you, just because her English is not that good, do not presume that she's stupid. Most Filipinos speak 3 languages, their local dialect, Tagalog, and English. And as you know, especially one that is college educated, if she has a college education and speaks 3 languages, she's definitely not stupid. But the fact that they speak enough English that they can get by, they can communicate with you, makes it a lot easier for an American to find a Filipino. Yeah. So if that's what you're into doing, I suggest you do it. Anyway, guys, up here somewhere is that subscribe button. Please click to subscribe. As always, feel free to leave comments in the comments section below. The comments have been quite active. Oh, by the way, while we're on this subject, everything that we say, Vivian or I say on Postcards from Cebu, is our opinion, our view, and yes, there are going to be a lot of generalizations. So just keep that in mind. We're not making any claims. We're not cultural anthropologists or marriage counselors or any of that kind of stuff. We're just a Fil-Am couple, and we're giving you our perspective. It's ours and ours alone. Take away from it what you like. But having said that, feel free to comment in the comments section below. We love to hear the comments. I like a lively debate, assuming it's appropriate. Feel free. Bye. Oh, thanks for watching.